What's going on, guys? Count Dracula, the Volkswagen, back with a new video. I know it's been a while since my last post. I do apologize. I have good news and bad news for the channel. The bad news is that I no longer have the Jetta anymore. Sorry, guys. I can't disclose why I no longer have the Jetta at the current moment. But the good news is we still have an 07K for the channel, ladies and gents. Yes, you heard me correctly. We still have an 07K Volkswagen for the channel. Now, that's the only clue I'm going to leave you guys with today. The reeling is going to be awesome. Hope you enjoy this new video. Peace. Start removing the factory airbox by removing the two T20 screws located on the left and right side of the intake duct. Then remove the hose clamps on the throttle body and mass airflow sensor. Lastly, remove the entire airbox by lifting up on all four corners. As such. We're going to remove the battery by taking off these two 10mm bolts. Next step is to remove the battery tray from the vehicle. All we're going to do is take out these, I believe there's supposed to be three. Yeah, there's three 10mm bolts. Located 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now the battery tray's out. So the vacuum pump is located right back here. I don't know if you can see it, but here's the shift selector. We're gonna go ahead and get some stuff cleaned up over here before I go ahead and do anything down there. Alrighty, guys, so the next thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and remove the shift selector after you've cleaned all this stuff up. Best way to do it is kind of using one of these. There we go. Alright. So you don't gotta move this. So I'm just gonna leave that right there. Start by removing this little shift selector bracket, and this bolt right here is a 12mm. So you're just gonna get a 12mm socket. Pull this off. The second thing you're gonna want to do is just remove this little washer that sits right under that nut. Place everything in sequence, side by side, so that you're able to just backtrack yourself and see which order everything went in. So you're just gonna want to rock this little bracket side to side until it kind of pops up just like that. Next nut that we're gonna take off, I don't even believe this one's even threaded on too much, but you basically just have to flick off a little bit of these metal tabs, and then you might be able to loosen it by hand. Maybe just use a flathead. And just bend these little prongs. The next thing you're going to want to do is just spin this nut out by hand. You shouldn't need any tools to take this off. It should come out relatively easily. As you can see, it came right off. Go ahead and grab this washer here and just put it to the side. Now, we're just going to take out these next two bolts, and then we'll be able to take out the whole shift selector. The next thing we're going to do is remove these two 12mm bolts located on the left and the right side of the shift selector cable. This should give us enough room to remove the shift selector from the top of the transmission. You're just going to thread them right back into the spot. That way you can't lose them. So now that we got the shift cable out of the way, we can prop this up. You can store this to the side. There's plenty of room over here. What we're going to start doing is start removing the actual vacuum pump by removing these 4 screws here, 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 and here. To avoid any more spillage in places where they're not already. I'm just going to stuff a rag. Alright, once you get all the screws off, this plate should come off. After you get that plate off, just take this little this little tube right here off. It should just kind of click off. There you go. Alrighty, so the next thing you're gonna do is start by removing the actual bolts that hold this thing on, and there should be 3 of them. There's one there. You might not be able to see it because it's a little caked up, but it's right there. And that 10mm bolt we have to also remove. And then there's another screw that I think right now the oil rag is blocking. So we're gonna get that 10mm first, right there. So right here, we're just taking out that 10mm bolt, and we're just gonna set it to the side and make sure you don't get rid of this bolt because we're gonna need it later. All right, there you go. Okay guys, so I'm actually really sorry I forgot to freaking start recording, but you're just gonna wanna pull this out. You're gonna pull your way towards you, right? And then you basically, you get this, the shift selector, this bolt right here to fall right into here, and then you can just lift right up and pull it out. All right guys, you guys are gonna wanna clean this, the mating surface of either one of 2 things: your new pump, which if you want to install a new pump, by all means, and 2, your Spulen vacuum pump delete, and that's what we're doing. Hopefully now it just kind of presses in. Okay guys, it looks like we are good and screwed in. Most people doing this vacuum pump delete aren't going to reuse this bracket, but I found that if you get that top 10mm bolt started, you can bend the bracket once fully tightened to flush fit it. So you're just gonna start threading your bolts now. Start with my right one first. I'm just gonna kind of thread it to snug, and then we'll tighten them all down after. All right, guys, so I'm not trying to really take the throttle body off, so I'm just gonna try to get inside there and get this off with a pick or 2. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I was able to remove the hose connecting the SAI pump to the PCV diaphragm using a set of pliers. Once it's disconnected from the PCV, you can spin the hose freely to give you access to grip the pliers around the hose clamp. Then just pull to remove it from the throttle body side. Getting these hoses connected took me a little bit longer than it should have. However, I wanted to show you guys that it's possible to do the job without removing the throttle body. Here you'll see me attaching the custom hose from Spulen that connects the SAI pump to the PCV and brake booster. While doing this job, I found that split hose connecting the throttle body to the fuel purge solenoid and just quickly fixed it. Next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and take the brake booster cable out. I'll be really gentle and just use one of these prying tools. I think got it. You got it? All right, guys. Here's the part. The next thing you're gonna want to do is this. So if you want to just cut it down to the nub, to the end of this, the inside of it. Oh shoot, sorry guys. Get that piece to look like this. Now just get the last of the Spulen hosing clamped together and then plug the nipple back into the brake booster. I chose to route the hose straight back to the brake booster. If you'd like, you can route the hose under the pre-existing hoses and wire looms to give you a more hidden and factory look. But remember, this is all personal preference. Just remember to bend the prongs on the captive washer after hand tightening the bolt on top of the shift selector. When putting everything back together, it's best to start your bolts by hand to avoid any cross-threading. Be sure to hold the ball joint while tightening down the shift selector to avoid changing gears. If you accidentally push the selector into one of the gears, no worries, just push it back into the park position and continue putting things back together.